Hello, 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 hello. It is a bright but chilly Sunday morning, and I am heading off to visit my friend where we did air layering the buddleia and see if we can't get some more willow whips. I'm really keen to see how the air layering went. Okay, watch this space. So I am back at the buddleia to take them down, see if we've got any success. There's one, and you can just see the other one sticking out there. If you remember, we did 3, and I'm afraid it's bad news. Oh, I'm struggling to get that in focus. I've cut one of them already, and you can see the part we exposed, and look, absolutely nothing. It hasn't worked at all. So I'm going to go home and stick it in the ground, make a wish. So I'm not particularly optimistic for the outcome on the other 2. Right, let's see if we did better on this one. And there you go. Cutting 2, another total failure. So why have they failed? I've definitely left them long enough. They were wrapped in black plastic, which I've been told is what you're supposed to do. So did I not pack the compost tight enough? Was my compost too wet? I'm afraid that is another dead stick example, but no rooting going on there whatsoever. The other thing, I suppose, I thought the cambium layer, it was described to me as being a thin green layer, and I thought I scraped all that off. Looking at what we've got there, I don't know if I didn't go deep enough. Right, very little confidence for the 3rd one. Look at the tail wagging, what a happy boy. Right, so I've just cut off the 3rd one. Let's see if this is going to have failed as well, isn't it? Let's not deceive ourselves. Okay, example 3. Again, the part we exposed, there's nothing, but look, what I did do on this one, I made the incisions just below a node, and here the bark has started cracking, and there is the beginning of rooting. I'm going to have to call this failure, but not abject failure. Let's get that home, get it in a pot, and see what it does. Possibly a 33% success rate. Yeah, I can't lie, a little disappointing. Well, very disappointing. Not what I'd hoped for. I'll try and put an image in here of what I was expecting. you can see even the third one, nothing like what I thought I would get. However, as my daughter taught me, to fail is first attempt in learning. There you can divide trees into one of two categories. You have monocot and dicot. And monocot is anything like evergreen trees, pampas, yucca, rye grasses, things like that. Really, anything else, the majority of it is dicot, and a plant needs to be dicot in order for you to be able to air layer it. So I obviously got something wrong, but we will attempt that again. We'll attempt that again with some of the plants on the property. But for now, let's see if we can get some willow. Well, would you believe it? That is another 70 willow whips. So let's get home and get those in the ground. We're definitely having more success with the willow than we are with the buddleia. Okay, we are back home. There's my willow planting kit. Let's see about how many of those we can get in the ground. We've already planted 30. We've got another 70 now. That's not a bad start. So looking along this boundary, I have a line of brambles and nettles, and my first instinct is strim, but I love blackberries, and you can make like a liquid fertilizer with nettles. So I think for now anyway, they're going to get a stay of execution. And then this is the site where I was trying to put up some cover between me and the holiday home. I think what I will try and do here is put in those 3 failed buddleia. They may grow, they may turn into sticks in the ground. My money's on dead sticks in the ground. But it'll take me a minute and no harm done. Okay, that's 3 buddleia in the ground. You can see, looking at them, the light colour on the leaf, which means that's the underside of the leaf, which means these are wilting. And I think they've done that since they've been cut, so they're failing quickly. I'll be amazed if anything becomes of these, but hey, who knows? Watch this space. Let's go down that further line and see if we can't get some willow in. Okay, that's a few in the ground. What I've tried to do, just leave myself enough room to get the lawnmower behind them. One of the considerations I think is these are a bit further on than the last ones we planted, so there's more energy from the plant going to bud and leaf production, so that might have an effect. I mean, failed completely on a straight line, but they're all about 1 spade length apart. Again, would be fantastic if they take. And then just put, oh, there's one there, and then put another one here at the corner, sort of tying where the ones we boarded with cardboard in the last video start. But we're going to go along this line now. Oh look, there's one there. We're going to go along this line now, add some more. I don't know if you can make that out on the camera, but that would be great. Would go towards a privacy screen, and if they take in 5 years' time, that's firewood. Watch this space. That seems to be, sorry, it seems to be my default phrase at the moment. Watch this space. So the more observant of you, or the more knowledgeable of you, will have noticed that I'm planting willow against a line of established hazel. And there's 2 reasons for that. One, yeah, hazel, crack on. The willow, 70 whips, cost me nothing other than going and having a coffee with a friend on, frankly, a gorgeous day. Another gorgeous day. In addition to that, willow, I am told, for its hardiness, I'm told you can plant it like this all year round. For the speed it grows and the return on the volume of wood and the speed with which that wood burns, willow is like your #1 firewood. So yes, hazel, crack on. Thanks very much. I'm sure I can harvest some of those and do the same with those. But these should produce me quickly, relatively quickly, I mean 5 years for me to be able to start coppicing it, a good source of firewood. Hope it makes sense. One thing I will say though, if these take, when we went round and cardboarded the others the other day, I think we had about an 80% success rate. So from 70 whips, that would give us 56 profitable plants. Garden centres, for the money you're charging for something that basically grows on trees, oh, you might be up there with the utility boards. So I don't know if you can see, that's the sun just going down behind me there. That's been a really productive day. We have obtained 70 willow whips. They've all gone in the ground. We covered a lot of the perimeter. Let's forget about those for a week now. See how they are in a week's time. Budley, I think, is dead. But that's a productive day. That was a nice way to spend a Sunday. I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir, but there aren't many things you can do better for the environment, for nature, for your own well-being than plant a tree. Especially if you plant a fruit tree, then you get a Brucey bonus out of it as well. So that's my recommendation. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there a lot more knowledgeable than me. I'd love to know what I should have done, what I could have done to do it better. Okay, that's calling it a day. Good morning. The next day, really pleased with getting those willows in the ground yesterday. They are for firewood. They will take 5 years to come into fruition, so the sooner they went in the ground the better. There is another job which a lot of people will say is the heart of any homestead self-sufficiency project, and it is the compost. And as you can see, in not quite the middle, but pretty close to the middle of this field, the previous occupants have kind of designated this a dumping ground. You can see they've been burning stuff here, and there's also an accumulation of oak leaves. So if my plan is to have this area as wildflowers, veg beds, polytunnel, then really I could do a lot worse, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, than putting my compost beds here. So it's day 6 on the property. Let's see if in the first week we can get some sort of composting started. It's a start. It's not finished by a long chalk. I'm going to have to stop sooner rather than later. I've got to go and meet someone who's going to come and collect the 4-foot fish tank and stand that I've got taking up space in my front room that I don't want. However, so the next plan is obviously put 2 more pallets at the end. That's fine, but let's be honest, there's no way 3 bays are sufficient for a property of this size. My plan when I've made pallet composters before is you say, right, okay, year 1, year 2, year 3, happy days. I'm going to fill those in no time at all. So, it may require an extension. Wow, that sun's bright and warm. It is St. Patrick's Day, and the adage is get your potatoes in the ground before St. Patrick's Day. So I am 1 day late. That is the job for today. This area you can see here is actually my septic tank filter bed, and you can see I've tarped some of it, and I was going to put my potatoes in there, but you know what, the recommendation is don't plant food you're going to eat on top of your filter bed. So I'm going to leave that. We're going to go here, and it's going to be a harder dig, but a better dig, hopefully. Okay, 3 things. 1, I've had to heavily edit this, otherwise this video will be so long no one will actually want to watch it. Secondly, look at my beautiful soil. This is the soil I thought was really heavy clay. It's not. It's good, dark, great topsoil. 3, we've got a first trench of potatoes in the ground, 6 to 8 inches deep, a foot apart. Run out of one variety, started another. Okay, 4th thing, it's all well and good to want to get your potatoes in. There's no point doing it if I rush it and do a poor job of it. I would like to have got more in the ground. I think I need a change of plan. Rather than tarp an area where I can't grow food, let's move that tarp next to the first trench of potatoes and start preparing for the next thing that's going to go in the ground. I do want more potatoes, but it is getting them in. Okay, I can't believe it's 4:15 already. Potatoes, one trench in the ground, and some tarp down, just to try and give myself a head start on the spot of land where I hope to use next. I think on that note, I'm going to leave it there for this week. It's day 8 in the property, so we've had a great week. We've cleared some space and started making inroads inside the house. Outside the house, 100 willow whips. That's a great step towards future energy production. We've created the compost bays. They're not finished, but we've made a start. So we're doing something about improving what appears to be fantastic soil. And then thirdly, finally, we've also made our first step, potatoes, in food production. Once again, an absolutely glorious day. Thank you so much for watching. If you got this far, please feel free to like, share, subscribe. If you want, you can buy me a coffee. And I'll see you next week.